I'm like, you know what I didn't notice this morning or yesterday? Well, the WNBA's tweeting out about Caitlin Clark. The Indiana Fever's tweeting out. Where the hell is Nike? Where are you, Nike? Now, Caitlin Clark is signed to a Nike deal. They're not afraid to drop to their knees and slurp Asia Wilson. Where is Nike?
Nike just pulled the ultimate vanishing act. Signed Caitlin Clark, then ghosted her harder than your ex after tax season. No tweets, no hype, not even a basic Yugo girl after her epic return in Iowa City. Meanwhile, Angel Reese gets a shoe deal, a crown, and probably her own parade float. Is Nike allergic to supporting Caitlin or just terrified of angry WNBA aunties? Buckle up, folks. This silence is louder than their cringe commercial. Ought to draw someplace. Let's unpack this mess.
Nike struck absolute gold when they signed Caitlin Clark to an 8-year, $28 million endorsement deal. So why in the world are they ignoring her?
Caitlin Clark made her glorious return to Iowa City, like the hometown queen riding back into Camelot. The entire state probably declared it a public holiday. The Fever finally remembered how to win a basketball game, an actual professional basketball game, not just a WNBA simulation mode. And Clark fans lost their collective minds, screaming, crying, passing out. The Caitlin cult was in full force in Nike.
Has there ever been a bigger ball drop in the history of athletes than what they have done with Caitlin Clark? Do they not understand? I know damn good and well they got analytics, and I will continue to say the reason this is happening is they're scared of the old WNBA fandom. Nike's woke as hell. Let me just keep it real. They are, and that's an issue here.
Ooh. Nike was somewhere in a boardroom pretending they didn't just sign this woman to a multi-million-dollar deal. They were probably too busy brainstorming their next empowerment campaign starring someone else entirely, preferably someone who fits their ever-evolving checklist of marketable wokeness. Because Caitlin Clark? Nah, too normal, too Midwestern, too much actual talent, and not enough controversy.
He still has it up. He's after retweeting. And by the way, this is because Nike, every other brand was talking about Caitlin going back to Iowa, but Nike ignored it. Nike have ignored nearly everything Caitlin Clark has done over the last couple of years. And Connor McCaffrey retweets at Nike, y'all don't got internet or what? Their stock is continuing to tank, obviously.
No tweet, no Instagram post, no mildly forced 15-second commercial clip. Not even a recycled shoe ad with a slapped-on slogan like she's built different. Caitlin's return to the city, where she turned college basketball into the Taylor Swift Eras Tour with free throw lines, and Nike was quieter than a library at 3 a.m.
April of this year, Caitlin signed an 8-year deal with Nike for up to $28 million. A super cheap contract they'll make a killing off of with a signature shoe. But despite winning unanimous WNBA Rookie of the Year, they've got no plans for a Caitlin Clark shoe. Why not? Well, the official reason from Nike is an obvious lie. What are they hiding? Well, Caitlin originally signed an NIL deal with Nike when she blew up in college. She was so popular. Caitlin was the most recognized college player in the country by far, twice as much as second place Angel Reese, 4 times more than the most popular men's player.
Meanwhile, back in the timeline where Nike has a pulse, they've practically tattooed Aja Wilson's name onto every shoe they manufacture. There's a full WNBA shrine at headquarters, and every statue has a voice box that chants "Aja is everything" on repeat. The red carpet rolls out, fireworks, tributes. They'd probably name their next headquarters cafeteria menu after Aja, before acknowledging Caitlin made it back to Iowa in one piece. Let's talk about that commercial Nike made for Caitlin. If you missed it, don't worry, so did the entire internet. It was so underwhelming it felt like a high school AV club project shot during lunch break using an iPhone 7 with a cracked screen. The energy was, we had to do this, so here's something. They probably called it in with a reluctant intern who had to Google, who is Caitlin Clark, before filming began. Compared to what Angel Reese got. Girl, they had custom shoes. Angel had her own release moment. The packaging looked like the Holy Grail. You'd think they discovered a basketball-playing Beyonce. Full glam, full production, full respect.
Make no mistake, the very people that are mad at all you Caitlin Clark fans, Nike doesn't want to make mad. I will give the WNBA credit because I think they didn't want to make them mad last year. I think the WNBA, to a point, has said, F it. We're putting her up. We've got to put her up. She is this league, the entire league. A lot of people noticed exactly what I did. How in the world, as it sets at 12:08 p.m. Central Time, has Nike, and at Nike Basketball, have they not posted a fudging thing?
And then Caitlin, the golden child of women's college basketball, the walking NCAA record book, she got the equivalent of a soggy Happy Meal toy. Nike put more effort into their failed SN Cures app updates than promoting the most anticipated rookie debut in WNBA history. And don't even get me started on Nike's social media team. These people go into cardiac-level convulsions celebrating Ajay Wilson. If Ajay sneezes, Nike throws a parade. If she waves to someone at a bus stop, Nike drops a limited edition Wave Like Aja hoodie. But when Caitlin laced up in front of a sold-out Iowa crowd who treated her like the second coming of Jordan, Nike acted like she was just a backup dancer at an AAU scrimmage. No tweet, no reel, no she's home moment, just static. You could hear Caitlin fans cracking their knuckles across them. These folks have watched Nike ride the backs of every hot talent they sign, squeeze every last drop of clout, and then come up dry when it's time to actually support the one player who turned women's basketball into primetime must-watch.
Now, you would think with this being such a big game for Caitlin, her returning to her alumni in Iowa and her hitting that massive logo 3, the logo 3 during the game, that some of her sponsors would want to show her support on social media, do any sort of marketing to uplift her and uplift their brand. And one who did do that was Gatorade. They tweeted a photo of her and they said, "Real home court advantage. Welcome back to Iowa, Caitlin Clark." Now, one of her lead sponsors that was noticeably quiet yesterday was Nike. And a lot of people were tweeting about this. They were wondering, why isn't Nike and Nike Basketball, why are none of their accounts saying anything about this? Yes, it's a preseason.
Caitlin's fans didn't just notice Nike's silence, they obliterated it. We're talking full-blown internet warfare. They dragged Nike through the mud, roasted them on a spit, deep-fried the carcass, and served it up with a side of ranch and public shaming. And honestly, the rage is kind of justified. Because for a company that practically built its empire on loud, flashy campaigns about empowerment and inclusivity, Nike's handling of Caitlin Clark has been less than inspiring. Actually, let's call it what it is: cowardly corporate silence. See, Caitlin doesn't come with the drama. She's not out here throwing shade on Instagram, feuding with other players, or releasing diss tracks on TikTok. She's not viral in the scandalous way the algorithm demands. She's talented, she's consistent, she breaks records, she elevates the game. But apparently that's not spicy enough for the engagement gods. And Nike seems to have picked up that same energy. Their silence reads loud and clear. Unless you come with controversy or culture war currency, you're not getting the full Nike package.
Thing that is the most surprising about this is, if you guys remember, when Caitlin Clark was playing at Iowa, Nike ran ads about her. When she broke the record for the most points in NCAA scoring history for both the men and the women, Nike put up this huge billboard that's basically like, if you break it, you own it. And this was in Iowa. They had other ads and things that came out, but since then it has been...
This isn't just about one athlete. It's about what kind of narratives corporate America thinks are worth backing. Nike loves a headline, but only when it serves them. Caitlin Clark deserves better. Her fans know it, the sports world knows it, and now, thanks to Nike's silence, everyone else is starting to pay attention too. Because if a generational talent like Caitlin Clark can't get a brand to stand up for her, then what's all this empowerment marketing really for? Just stretchy pants and vibes? It's wild because Caitlin's return wasn't just a game, it was an event. It was emotional. It was packed. It was like if Taylor Swift performed at your county fair and the popcorn machine exploded from excitement. It had all the trappings of a marketing dream: redemption arc, homecoming hero, first pro win. But somehow, Nike managed to miss all of it like a blindfolded archer in a hurricane. They're out here treating Caitlyn like she's still on a tryout contract.
The minute that she started playing in the WNBA, you should have rolled out for every little girl in America that Caitlyn Clark wants. And that should have been the baddest ass women's tennis shoe that has ever been made in the history of Nike. How are you burying Caitlyn Clark inside of a garbage ad, Nike, where you claim that the reason why women's athletes aren't successful is because of misogyny? What? Do you know men?
You know what this really comes down to? Nike is scared, terrified actually, of the WNBA's most vocal online gatekeepers. You know the ones, that Twitter subculture that treats Caitlyn Clark like she's an intruder in a sacred temple, built by players who average 6 points a game but still think they laid the foundation of the league. And Nike? Nike doesn't want the smoke. They don't want the angry threads and hashtags from the self-proclaimed purists who freak out anytime a new fan dares to show up in Clark merch. Because heaven forbid someone starts supporting women's basketball now. It's as if Caitlyn Clark herself waltzed in and personally tanked the league's ratings by being good at basketball and gaspy marketable. These people treat increased visibility like an insult, not progress. So Nike tiptoes, afraid to lean too hard into Clark's popularity, because they know the outraged mob is watching, just waiting to declare that the house she's helping build doesn't count. Because they were here first, even if no one noticed.
Caitlyn Clark's Nike deal might be the worst endorsement deal in the history of professional sports. You guys remember this billboard that was put up in Iowa? Well, that's one of the last times that Nike has done anything for Caitlyn Clark. They promoted her more in college than they have at all the entirety of the WNBA season.
So Nike does what all spineless mega brands do. They sit on the fence, legs cramping, holding their breath, praying no one accuses them of picking a side. Meanwhile, Caitlyn's carrying the weight of WNBA ticket sales like she's pushing a shopping cart full of bricks, and Nike's acting like they accidentally butt-dialed her entire existence. And don't forget, this is the same company that made a $1 billion brand off literally saying, just do it, unless it involves promoting Caitlyn Clark. Then it becomes, just avoid it. Delete the drafted tweet and pretend the fever don't exist. Call it The Homecoming. Feature bold black and gold detailing, stamp her signature across the heel, maybe even lace it with Hawkeye pride.
How in the world is Nike not going full on Caitlyn Clark phenomenon? You've got the most popular women's athlete in the world. Do they still not have a Caitlyn Clark shoe out?
Name it the Iowa icon or queen of the court. Anything remotely creative, and watch sneakerheads and sports fans alike crash the Nike app in under 13 seconds. But instead, crickets. Nike fumbled the bag so hard you'd think they were prepping custom cleats for a golf team that didn't make it past regionals. And now, Caitlyn's fans are not amused. Not in a haha oh well kind of way, but in a how do we start a petition to get her out of this contract kind of way. The backlash is real. On social media, fans are roasting Nike like it's their side hustle. One frustrated supporter even suggested Caitlyn should just sign with Skechers. Yes, Skechers, because at least they understand the basic concept of timing. It's brutal, but also kind of fair. When your biggest star makes history, you don't wait for Q4 to react. You show up, or someone else will. Right now, it's looking like Nike might get outpaced by a brand that makes shoes for mall walkers. Honestly, they had one job.
This is a huge day for Caitlyn. She's returning to her alum. Who knows when she will play there again? And she hit a 36-foot three-pointer from her logo, the record-breaking logo where she beat the NCAA scoring record. Nike seems to be continuing to fumble the bag when it comes to Caitlyn. She still doesn't have a signature shoe. The merch is very limited that they put out for Caitlyn Clark, and a lot of fans are wondering why. People want to buy Caitlyn Clark things, and they especially want to buy Caitlyn Clark Nike things. Why is Nike continuing to wait so long into her WNBA career when you could have put something out last year and it would have sold out? It doesn't make much sense. And also the deal that Nike put on the table for Caitlyn Clark, it seems.
And here's the thing, Nike isn't short on funds, they aren't short on resources, they're short on guts. Supporting Caitlyn Clark in 2025 should be the easiest slam dunk in marketing history. But Nike is so wrapped up in their fear of offending some mythical WNBA gatekeeper that they're out here acting like Caitlyn's just a phase. Let's compare. Angel Reese got a shoe drop faster than Caitlyn got a tweet. Think about that. One got a full-blown product rollout, the other got corporate ghosted. If Caitlyn wants to get a Nike shoe at this point, she might need to join a rival team and start some drama just to get on their radar. It's like Nike wrote her name in pencil and erased it halfway through the contract. They'll gladly take the boost in sales from Clark merch, but they won't stand next to her when it matters. It's brand cowardice dressed up in a performance fleece.
Nike, which has in recent times focused far more on politics and virtue signaling and way too little on growing the company and providing their customers with what they want. As you can see, Nike to post worst revenue fall in 5 years on stagnant demand.
Fans noticed that even during Caitlyn's debut game, when she was lighting up the court while ESPN's viewership skyrocketed like it was the Super Bowl, Nike was out here promoting people who weren't even playing. It's almost impressive how dedicated they are to ignoring the elephant in the arena. It's like Nike's slogan has quietly changed to just promote who's safe. Meanwhile, Caitlyn's out there breaking records, selling tickets, raising the WNBA's profile to levels never seen before, and Nike's acting like she just walked in off a junior college bench. It's one thing to be late to the party. It's another to hide in the bushes and pretend the party isn't happening. But hey, if Caitlyn so much as blinks wrong in a post-game interview, you know Nike's press release team will be ready to respond. We stand with Caitlyn Clark during this difficult eyelid moment. Because controversy, that's their favorite marketing strategy. Quiet excellence, that's for interns.
Caitlyn has not only had an incredible rookie season, but she has also transformed the WNBA. She became the face of the league as a rookie. She was #1 in jersey sales, and all of her collaborations with Wilson sold out in minutes. So why is Nike sleeping on Caitlyn?
So here's a thought. Maybe it's time Caitlyn Clark does dump Nike. Maybe it's time she walks away from a brand that treats her like an inconvenience instead of the game changer she is. There are plenty of companies out there that would trip over their balance sheets to give her the platform she deserves. Adidas, Under Armour, even New Balance would probably create a whole Clark collection and name a pair of sneakers the Iowa City Stompers. Because if Nike can't see the value in Caitlyn Clark after all she's done for the game, the fans, the sport, and the entire dang league, they don't deserve her. Let them keep clinging to their curated favorites, while the real queen of the court builds her empire elsewhere. Caitlyn isn't just a player. She's a phenomenon. It better come with an apology letter, a handwritten thank you note, and a pair of golden shoelaces. Until then, Caitlyn's fans will keep making noise, because silence might work for Nike, but it definitely doesn't work for them.